In Italy, every region got their food, they got their type of pasta. But how did it came to be? The two main influence of those decisions are usually history and geography. So, to understand more about pasta, let's talk about history and geography of Italy. Alright, let's talk about the history of Italy. We're just gonna start with the history. We're gonna do geography another day because it's a lot of information.
Sarah got her job. She started taking her smartphone into the bathroom with her. 6 months after that, she forgot where the bathroom was. They all suffer from iOS, information overload syndrome.
So you all know the story. Italy used to belong to Rome, and the Roman Empire lasted a freaking long amount of time. But at one point everything started to go bad. Rome was divided between the Western and the Eastern Empire, and then the Huns came in from the east. They started raiding the place and they scared a lot of the barbarian tribe, and all those barbarian tribes just went into Rome to hide. And at this point everything was going wrong with the Western Empire and it collapses. And the Ostrogoth kingdom, which I don't have the flag, so we're just gonna put the banana flag, cause yeah, at that time barbarian didn't have any flags, so yeah, feel bad. But yeah, the Ostrogoth kingdom took full control of the region of Italy. But it wasn't the last of the Roman. They still had the Eastern Roman Empire was like, I wanna bring back Rome. So with some great conquests, they took back Italy from the Ostrogoth and became the ruler of Rome again. So the Roman was back on the throne. And yeah, it didn't last too long. They got barbarian again that are gonna be represented by Metallica. And everything in Italy just became a freaking mess. Okay, at this point guys, this is where Italy become a freaking mess for a load of time.
Well, like, you've got an old milk carton here from a month ago that's like...
Don't you touch that! That's not something to throw away! If you throw that away, I will rape you in the mouth, okay? I will rape you in your fucking mouth, okay?
Italy won't get unified into one country before the 18th century. A bunch of little states were created that separated the country into little regions, like Benevento, Salerno. A little bit later there was Sicily. There was the Papal States, which is kind of the ancestor of Vatican City. There was a bunch of little coastal cities that find a lot of success by becoming some of the best Martian city, like Naples, Genoa, and Venice, who became so freaking rich because it was a Martian city who was basically ruled by Martians. So it just makes so much sense, and they started to make so much money. And it's not over because some of the big countries had their influence into Italy like crazy. The Holy Roman Empire and Francia just became like the owner of north of Italy and center, which was making things even more messy. And in the south there was Sicilia and Sardinia. They were both colonized by Arab states for a good time. And even some part of the south of Italy was owned by Spain at a time. But yeah, basically with all those states and all those big countries, even though the country is pretty close together, every region got different type of culture, different type of mentality, and even the language started differing so much that some of the region had a tough time understanding someone from another region. So this is how like ensign in Italy started coming. This is why Italians talk a lot with their hand, just to understand the other guy. But yeah, as Italy was always kicked around, there was a lot of financial crisis in the region, which resulting in massive Italian immigration, which explains why there's so many Italians in different countries like the USA. So at this point you're probably wondering, how did Italy become a country with so much diversity in the region? Well, it's all about a good friend Napoleon again. I mean, this guy shook the world like crazy. But basically what happened is during the Napoleon War, they got a part of Italy, and France just had the French Revolution happen in their country recently, which made the northern part of Italy want to unify the entire country. And they achieved it, they conquered all of Italy and everything was good. Well, not really. Basically, when Italy as a country was created, the old government was a freaking mess. And it had a lot of bad consequences like financial crisis, and with the lack of any authority in the southern country, it gave birth to the big mess that was the Italian mafia. So well, whenever a country is in a financial crisis and everything is going wrong, what usually happens is people end up electing a crazy dude that become a dictator. Like, it legit happen every time. Every time a country is in a bad shape, they just like, hey, let's elect somebody that's gonna make it worse. Like, legit, it happens so many times. We need to learn of that. God dang. But yeah, the king of the douchebag, Mr. Mussolini, got into power and he just made everything even worse. He tried to recolonize Africa, which he had a freaking tough time. Ethiopia just like kicked his ass a couple of times. And World War II was just a disaster for Italy. Like, nothing went right with Italy. Like, they did so bad, it was the worst. But yeah, so after World War II, Mussolini got the fuck out. And Italy became slowly a more stable country. Boom! So yeah, that was just to explain why Italy region differ into culture and into food. They hadn't been unified under one banner for a long time. They were so different in culture and everything. But the whole thing together made something amazing, and that's why Italian food is so nice and so diverse. It kinda explained why the north of Italy became more rich, so they had more eggs, so they do more pasta with egg. And the south of Italy, which was more traditional, they were less fortunate, so they end up migrating more and they do their pasta with semolina. But yeah, that's about it for today. I mean, we could go even deeper in the history of Italy and in the history of every region, actually. But we're gonna keep it simple for today, maybe for another day. But yeah, for today, what are we cooking today? We're gonna cook some cappellacci and we're gonna make some pumpkin filling with some sage and some butter, and like we're gonna make the egg yes dough, so we're gonna put a bunch of yellow egg because we're rich. We're from the north of Italy, so we're rich. So for the pasta dough, like I said, we're gonna do a pasta dough that got a lot of yellow egg. It's only yellow egg, no white egg, okay? So we're gonna use 18 yellow egg. I know it sounds like a lot because it is freaking way too much. I usually don't do this dough very often because I end up with way too much white egg, but it is freaking great, man. It's a pretty delicious dough and a lot of double zero flour. And for our filling and sauce of the dough, it's gonna be pretty simple. You know what? Sometimes simple is the way to go. So we got pumpkin. We're gonna do a pumpkin filling. So
it was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
This is actually not pumpkin. Okay, yeah. Actually, I'm so stupid. Yeah. I keep saying pumpkin, but it is actually butternut squash. So yeah, butternut squash filling. And we're gonna put parmesan in it and a little bit of nutmeg. And for the sauce, even more simpler, we're gonna use some sage leaf and a little bit of butter. Boom, just like that. Our pasta is made. Alright, so first we're gonna start by cooking the butternut squash. I cut it in half and I score it a little bit. I'm adding some olive oil, a little bit of salt, and I'm putting it in a 400 Fahrenheit oven until it gets tender, so about an hour. And after I'm gonna take the skin out. And I kind of fucked up this part, so you usually want to add the parmesan before you add the butternut squash and blend the parmesan alone. It just make it more easy and more fast. But yeah, it still works, and I'm adding the nutmeg. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And then we blend it for a long time because we fucked up until it's getting super smooth. And then we put it in the fridge to cool it off. Alright, we're doing the pasta dough. I'm making a well with the flour. I'm adding some salt, some olive oil, and all our yellow egg. And I'm slowly making the same thing we done always. So get all the dough together and work it for 5 to 10 minutes. And then we're just gonna let it rest for 30 minutes at room temperature, covered in plastic. Boom! Easy clap. Look at the dough, super yellow. Alright, it's time to roll our dough. I'm making it thin enough so it can pass into the machine. And one number at a time, I'm making it pass. And this dough is really special. It's kind of thick. It's weird, but it's super nice to use. When the dough is thin enough, I'm gonna use a round middle tool to make some little circle. And the dough you don't use, you can just re-roll it after. And then I'm adding the filling inside every single one of them, and then it's shaping time. It's pretty easy. I'm just making it into a half moon, and I'm making the two corners join together, and then I'm pinching it, and boom, we got a nice cappellacci ready. Super fun, super easy to do, and it looked good. And then you do the same for every single one then, and you end up with a load of cappellacci. Oh yeah, whenever there is filling, if you want to conserve it for a long time, you can put it in the freezer. Alright, we're gonna do the sauce. I'm adding some butter and some sage leaf, and I'm just infusing the sage into the butter until it looks good. Then we're on to cooking the pasta, so you just cook the pasta until they're ready, and then we put it into the pan. I'm adding a little bit of cooking water, and I'm just emulsifying everything, and boom, our pasta are ready. Alright, we're gonna be on to plating time. So the plating is even more simple. We just put the pasta into the plate, and we can top it with some of the sage leaf and a little bit of black pepper. I mean, the pasta are so beautiful from themselves that they don't need a lot of stuff. And there we have it, guys, the perfect little pasta cappellacci pumpkin. I know we're not in season of pumpkin, but I always freaking butternut squash. I fucked up again, god damn. I mean, that looked freaking fantastic. Look at that. That looked fresh, that looked nice, that looked So yeah, let's just get into it and let's taste this bad boy. It's like the inside of the pasta is the sauce. That's what's fabulous about this one. Question of the day, what is your favorite fried food? Okay, I'm gonna do a top 3 because there's so many fried food in the world. I gotta be boring and put fried chicken in there because it is just special, man. I'm a big fan of like dough, dessert, like donut, everything that is fried, pastry, you know, little puff, you know, the puff. Oof. Those are all good. I mean, I gotta put them in there. I mean, I truly enjoy shrimp, fried shrimp. You know, little fried shrimp. It's always crispy. I don't know. It just works. Shrimp plus little panko batter fried. It just works. It makes sense. It's just delicious. Oh, if you guys want a nice recipe of fried shrimp, you can go watch one of my videos that I made, which was pretty dope. Oh wow, that was so light. I don't even. I mean, that still filled me up a little bit, but it was really light. I'm out. Peace.